Okay, we're back on. Oh, the beauty of technology. All right. So, for those of you in the local area, northern Utah or southern Idaho, we're not that far from the Idaho border, wherever you are, we are having uh, a special day tomorrow at both of our locations in the Salt Lake area as well as up in Logan. And so I want to share that with you, where we're calling it Drive Up to Make a Difference. And in Sandy, we're giving away 1 yard of free fabric for anyone who drives up tomorrow between the hours of 10 and 11. Our stores are both closed. However, we are doing a drive up parade, if you will, and we'd like to invite all of you to come and pull up to the Sandy store. We'll be out there and passing out 1 yard of free fabric for you to make face masks for your loved ones or for donation. We're also a drop-off spot for face masks at both locations. We'll have a bin out in front. If you've been making them and are looking for a place to donate them to, you're welcome to drop them off in both of our stores, and we will make sure we get them to those who need them. So it is Friday, April 10th, which is tomorrow. And again, the drive up starts at 10 in the morning and it ends at 11. So 1 hour only. And if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, loved ones who might live in the area, we would be so grateful. Whether they sew or they don't sew, but they've been trying to think of a way to make a difference, we're going to give you the free yard of fabric as well as a pattern to go with it to make these face covers. So if you could help us spread the word, we would be so incredibly grateful. So that's the one in Sandy. And then we also are doing the same in Logan. Let me bring that up right now. There we go. So we have the drive up to make a difference in Logan. Again, 1 yard of free fabric to make masks for your loved ones. 1 yard of fabric will actually make 10 face masks, okay, or face covers, whatever you want to call it. It'll make 10. We have cut up 300 yards of fabric, my friends, for this event. And so by doing so, you're going to help us in making 3,000 face covers for those in our communities. So I really hope you'll join in and be a part of this. If you are in the local area, if you wouldn't mind sharing this message with all of your friends on Facebook, we would appreciate it so much. We want to get the word out there. And another really cool thing that our staff has been working on so hard this week is they have been making these beautiful patchwork heart quilts that are all done in patriotic colors, and those will be hanging out in front of both stores just as a sign of unity and love and peace and trying to help bring our communities together. So we'd love for you to drive by and see that tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. And for those who are wondering about picking up other items they've ordered, we kindly ask that you choose a different time to pick up those items, not during the drive-through time. We need to keep the traffic flowing and keep it moving right through. And so if you will be so kind to pick those up at a different time, that would be great. All right? Okay, so that's what's going on in both of the stores tomorrow, as well as I will still be on again tomorrow doing the 9 o'clock hour with Barb and Kyle, where we do a deal of the day. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have the drive-through pickup. And at 12 o'clock noon, I will continue with my Maker Summit online with my special guest, Marcia Owen of Cotton Street Commons. So, are you ready for today? I am so excited. I've really been looking forward to this because Nannette has become a really good friend of mine over just even the last several months. When I met her, we connected right away, and she is just an amazing person. In general, she's a very gifted designer, but an incredible woman, and I am so happy to welcome her. Hi, Nannette. Are you there?
Hello. So
Hi.
good to be with you today.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you. It's so great to see you, my friend. You know, Nannette doesn't live too far. She's down in the Salt Lake area, and we were supposed to have her come for a special event in our Sandy location just in a couple weeks, and unfortunately, it's going to have to be delayed, isn't it?
I'm so disappointed that I'm not going to be able to come up to. I went to Utah State years ago.
Yeah.
Love Logan and was really looking forward to this year's shot, but we'll do it another time.
Yes, for sure. Oh, yes, it was the Logan location, not the Sandy. Silly me. Or was it both? I can't remember. My brain is dead.
The first one was in Logan in 2 weeks, but that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen right now. But I assure all of you who had planned on coming, we will post. It will be still scheduled, just not quite yet until we get through with all of this mess going on with this virus. So please hang on, okay? All right. So Nannette, how are you?
I'm great.
How are you holding up with all of this?
Working. I'm very fortunate to have the studio that I have to work in. So I kind of just I'm just working my way through it like everyone else.
Yeah, isn't that true? And aren't you grateful that you have the chance to be able to keep sewing and doing what you love during this time?
It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference to be able to still create and explore and do the things that you love.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Nannette, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the company, Chenille-It? How did you get started? Where did this idea come from? And just tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Well, I'm going to switch you over to my studio view.
Ooh, can't wait. Oh my goodness, look at that studio. That's beautiful.
And we really have it set up today to show you so many things. But I would like to start with where it all began.
Okay.
Because my background actually isn't in quilting. It was in fashion design.
Really?
I studied fashion design at FIT in New York. I had a bridal and evening gown boutique, Nannette of New York, for years. And back in the 90s, I started exploring wearable art. And I'm going to come down to some fabric here. Isn't this just...
Wow, look at that.
I started doing some wearable art. I saw some jackets by a designer by the name of Tim Harding. And he was doing jackets with layers of fabric that he stitched and cut, and they were selling. This is back in the 90s. His jackets were selling for over $900.
Holy cow.
So I'm thinking, well, this could be an interesting technique to explore. But I didn't want to spend a lot of fabric. I went to the fabric store and found this fabric on the sale table. It's rayon. Isn't that a lovely print?
It is. So vibrant.
And layered that and cut it and washed it. And this jacket is the result of that fabric.
Holy cow.
That you just...
Talk about texture.
And from that point on, I was hooked. I started doing jackets with that technique. I ended up writing 2 books. That jacket actually became the cover of my first book. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yes.
And I did that technique for years. I actually trademarked the name.
How long ago was this, Nannette?
This is back, I wrote my first book in 1995.
Holy cow. Okay.
And I wore one year, I wore this jacket I went to Quilt Market for the first time that year and wore this jacket. and people were stopping me.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the quilt industry picked up on this technique and started making flannel baby blankets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I started designing jackets for McCall's Pattern Company. I did that for quite a few years. But at that point, that's pretty much what the quilting world was doing with the technique. They were layering flannel because that would bloom. Mm-hmm. My jackets were all made of rayons, which were really, really soft and luxurious. But quilt shops did at that time sell rayons, so they were doing it with flannels.
Okay,
but
so you just said
go
something.
ahead.
Well, you just said something that made me really kind of smile, and you said it made it bloom. It made it bloom. I love that. And you call your chenille-it a blooming bias, right?
Yes. I mean that's really what the chenille-it does.
Yeah.
Blooms.
Okay, keep going. As you were making the jackets.
And so I was teaching all over the country, and I would go to, these jackets were made with 4 and 5 layers of fabric. And even with rayon, that makes a fairly, a little bit heavy jacket.
Oh, that'd be heavy, yes.
Yes. So imagine when I go to California and Florida to teach.
Right.
and they're saying to me, I love these jackets, but I can't wear them in Florida. Right. So I started exploring and using fewer layers and different fabrics. And what I discovered was it wasn't the multiple layers of fabric that was creating the texture. It was the fabric itself. Oh. And if I had the right fabric, I only needed 1 layer.
True. That's right.
To get the texture. And at that point, I had kind of a light bulb moment and wondered, well, what if I put it on a roll?
Okay. So are you...
And that's how chenille-it started.
There we go. So show us what you're talking about with that.
So now it comes on a roll like this. Can you see the rolls?
Yeah. Much lightweight. A lot less weight, right?
Yeah. But now I'm using just 1 layer. I have it on a roll, so I can put that chenille. I'm just going to walk over here slowly. Pick up a roll. I'm using my cell phone because it's easier. I can really walk around and show things. But it just comes on a roll like this. Yeah. So and you're just using a single layer.
That's right.
And that's all there is to it. You stitch down the center, wash it, dry it, and it blooms.
I love it. And it blooms. So talk about like how this can make something just, I always like to say that this chenille-it makes anything that's ordinary extraordinary, because it takes on a whole new life when you add it to a project.
Well, one of the things that I've been doing recently, in fact, my daughter who is a photographer, is now a designer for our company and is designing a series of storybook panels, storybook quilts, to put the chenille on. And the one that you're looking at right now was going to be premiered at Spring Market in Pittsburgh, which is now canceled. So your viewers are getting the first look at this new storybook.
That is so cute. What do you call this panel?
This one is Princess and the Pea.
Okay.
I'm going to see her sitting on top of all her chenille quilts.
Oh, so sweet.
and her dress and the curtains, everything is embellished with the chenille.
Yeah.
See the chenille on all those little quilts?
Yeah.
So it just brings this panel to life.
Right.
And gives it texture. And that's what's been so fun about the product, is it just makes everything pop.
Yep. Absolutely. In fact, I've got, for if it's a little fuzzy for people, I've got another picture here that I'm going to bring up to help out with that. Let's see if I can find it. I just had it.
Is my phone working?
It's just a tad fuzzy. You know, it's just the nature of all of that, right? Let me see. Oh my goodness, I just had it and then lost it. Keep talking while I find it.
Well, let me tell you, while we're working on that, the first storybook panel was Peter Pan. And this quilt, I don't know if I can can I get back far enough for you to, can you see Peter up above the clouds?
Oh, we love Peter. I've got a picture of him right here.
Yeah.
I love this quilt. This
picture of the whole panel.
Well, and the picture that I have here of the panel shows it in truer colors with the really pretty blues. Yeah, Mary, she is going to show us how to do this. So she asked, I'm a little confused on how you use the tape. No worries. She's going to take us through that.
And that's one of the panels are especially easy because they have been designed for the Chenille-It blooming bias.
Right.
So it's almost like paint by number. Here's a close-up of the panel without the chenille on it. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, I love that.
But can you see the black? Can you see the black lines on the panel?
Yep, we can see the black lines. Yeah.
And so it's almost like paint by number. You're just going to take the Chenille-It 3/8 inch wide tape and lay it down over those lines and stitch down the center.
It's so simple. You know what? I found my princess picture. I'm going to bring that up right now. Can we go back to that princess quilt?
And here's the clouds with the chenille on it.
Oh, see that? See that added texture it gives? That's just amazing.
It's just
and this panel is called Never Grow Up. Am I right?
Oh, We Can Fly.
Oh, We Can Fly. We Can Fly. Another part of that song.
See, there's the
there's
the tops.
Darcy, we do have the tape and the panels on our website. Cindy shares,
and I have the kit, so they'll be able to buy the panel with all the chenille and instructions on your website too, I think. Yeah,
definitely. Cindy shared how far chenille has come.
Well, this is a whole new world, and as I go around my studio, I think you'll be amazed at the possibilities. The original quilt for the We Can Fly was all done with applique, with raw edge applique. And we designed and made that quilt just to show people what the possibilities were with the chenille. And then everybody wanted the pattern.
This would be so fun in a little baby's room, I think, or a toddler.
Yeah. And you can make it bigger. You can add a border to it. Here we've done the one block wonders.
Oh wow!
And made hexes. And look what it makes amazing hexes.
Well, and then you outlined
And
it with the chenille tape, which is really a really neat looking concept there. I'm going to
well,
show
that frame.
I'm going to show the picture of the princess right now. So, Nannette, will you take your camera back over to the princess quilt, please?
Sure.
And I will bring this up so people can get a better visual of the color here. Isn't that
And
cute?
the princess panel will also have coordinating fabrics. It has the striped fabric,
Uh-huh.
and and a pink fabric with little birds on it. That's really fun. And the striped fabric, once you sew those chenille strips in between your stripes, it looks like it's all pieced.
Oh yeah, and
It looks
and there's no
like
piecing.
doesn't
So
doesn't this pillow look like that's pieced? Can you
it
see the pillow?
does, but it's not. You're
It's not
kidding.
pieced. You just sew the chenille on the stripes, and it looks like you've done
No.
all those layers.
I love that. I love that. So for everyone who maybe didn't catch this earlier, this was something that Nannette was planning on showing at Spring Market. And Market's been canceled now. And so you guys are the first ones to get a look at all of these new things that are coming up.
And that's the princess pillow. Can you see the
Oh, that is so
chenille around
cute.
that? That's just
Yes.
done with raw. Okay.
I love it. I love it. So why don't you go ahead and show us some of the other projects that you have in there in your studio? And then we'll go from there and we'll talk about how it's all done. Yes,
Perfect.
Janice, these are panels. She said, so these are panels? Yes, yes. Isn't that cool?
The thing that's amazing about the panels, and you'll see some other panels as I go around my studio, but the thing that's amazing, when you put the chenille on, it makes the panel look like it's all appliqued.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Which, why don't you, let's show them the Christmas one, the Christmas panel, because to me, it
I'm going to
looks
see the
like,
Christmas panel.
yes, if we could, because that looks like it's all been appliqued. And my friends, it's not too early to think about Christmas. So this is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. This is
Yeah, this is,
by Moda.
and I'll get up close on some of these flowers. And they look like they're appliqued with the chenille.
Yep. That is just so cool. They look like they're appliqued, but no, it started out as a panel, and we have those as well. And so look how she was able to outline the lettering
Yeah,
with the
on the
chenille. Go ahead, Nannette.
and it's so fast and easy because you're just following the lines.
That's all you're doing. Oh my gosh, so fun. And look at the added dimension that that gives to your project. It's just incredible. It really makes the whole thing pop.
It blooms.
It blooms. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, Marcia,
I'm
we do
walking
have those
to
panels.
the other side.
Yep. Love the
And we'll,
Christmas panel.
we'll see another panel in a minute. But it can be as simple as you can sew it on to anything you want. This is and you can combine it with other techniques if you're doing machine embroidery.
Yep.
You can see on this little denim jacket, and then I've laid
cute.
down some lace and put chenille over the top.
Cute.
And you can just embellish something that's already made.
Absolutely. I love that.
It's a natural for a baby doll.
Oh, that's so sweet.
This is a fun baby quilt. Eat, play, sleep, repeat. This one is a pattern.
Yep. That
And
is
it
so cool.
has raw edge. It's done with raw edge applique in the center with the tree and the birds and your words. The whole border is done with the chenille.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And
Wow. Talk about
instead of
fuzzy.
binding your edge, you put the 5/8 inch width chenille on your edge on both sides, and your edges. So I have a very soft edge on the
So
quilt. You don't have to bind it.
that takes the place of your binding.
Yes, instead of binding, you just sew chenille on both sides and you're done.
I love it. I love it. And you're going to show us that today, aren't you?
Well, and I'll show you the step by step for that in a minute.
Okay.
One of the things that can you see this quilt?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. One of the things I love about it is you can take very traditional and make them easier.
Absolutely.
This is, I love the look of the stained quilt, but I'm doing all that narrow to outline,
Mm-hmm.
to outline edges. I'm just sewing the 3/8 inch chenille around those raw edge appliques, and it looks like stained glass.
Yes, definitely. Oh, that is so pretty. I love that.
So that's a technique.
Do you have one of your dream big?
The Dream Big panel has been so popular. Close this blind so we don't get the backlight.
There we go.
Can you
Look
see
at
that?
that. That has been a very popular panel out there in the industry right now, is the Dream Big. And it seems like Hoffman just keeps on having them come out with new colors.
Well, and this is the opal color, the one that
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
But can you see what that does to the petals?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And while you're showing that, I'm going to bring up on my screen the 3 panels that we have kitted together for Dream Big. We've got the teal, and can't remember what I call this, the orchid, and no, this one's the orchid. Oh, the one I just showed was the rose, and this is the orchid. So we have these 3 different panels that we are kitting up for this. So this makes a beautiful statement. I know a lot of people out there have loved the Dream Big panels for quilting, but now let's take it one step further and do it with add the chenille to it, right?
By adding the chenille to the petals, it really accentuates and makes your quilting stand out. You know, it frames the quilting that you've done on those petals. You know, it really
Absolutely.
gives you lots of, you can really see the detail. And then I've also finished this with the chenille instead of binding as well.
I
Can you
love
see
it.
that edge? You don't have to, it'll have the same texture and colors. The one thing that I've done on the Dream Big panel, on everything else that you're seeing today, it just has one layer of the 3/8 when I'm using it on raw edge applique or on but on the Dream Big panel, that fabric has kind of a iridescent look to it. And I wanted to keep that same look and feel. So instead of just a single layer, I have white on top of all of these petals, but I've put a
Oh.
color underneath it, and it just, you get a hint of that color, and it looks very iridescent like the fabric.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a fun technique.
It has a hot pink under these outer petals. It has lilac. I'm moving, and I have pale pink and yellow as I go toward the center. But white is on top of every color.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. Someone asked, let's see.
Yeah.
Jeanette asked if my kits of Dream Big contain enough chenille for the border. I'm guessing you mean for the binding. And yes, all of our kits for the Dream Big panels include the binding, as well as We Can Fly and the Christmas one. Yep.
Well, and let me show you really quickly how they do that binding. It's so fast and easy. There's also a tutorial on YouTube, but this is a very simple baby quilt.
Okay, can I just stop you for a minute and say how much I love this baby quilt? Now, the colors aren't showing up really well, but tell us, you've got pink and is it a green?
I have, yeah, on this one I have pale pink, sage, and pale yellow.
Okay. I love, 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 love.
And then
I've seen this
better.
quilt in person, but why don't you like just tell them how fun this, how versatile this is, because you basically created your own fabric and then cut it up into squares, and you have them going different ways, and you've got this darling quilt.
Well, and you're not sewing the chenille on all those little squares. You're
No.
taking you're taking a whole strip. See, I have a whole strip of white fabric, the full width of the fabric, and then you are going to just stitch down the colors that you want on that strip all the way down the full width of the fabric, and then you're going to cut it into blocks
Exactly. And that's the
and
genius.
together.
Nannette, it's genius, my
So
friend.
it's super fast and real. And then you sew that. Now this is another color variation of it. You can, and then you sew your blocks together, and then you finish your edges with the chenille instead of binding.
Can you imagine how soft that would be for a
And
baby?
that looks like this. Hopefully you can block. Uh, you can finish any quilt this way. Instead of binding, you're just going to lay quilt top, batting, and your backing like you normally would.
Mm-hmm.
And then you serge the edge of your quilt.
Okay.
And once it's serged, you stitch. Are you there?
Yep, we're still here.
Are we still connected?
Yes, we sure are. Yep, we're good. So I think how fun
Stitch the
that would be.
chenille on the back, flip
Yep.
it over, stitch it on the front, and when you wash it, your edge is finished.
That's right, because they just kind of meld together, don't they? So we've got a few questions, Nannette, that I want
Are
to.
we connected?
Yep, we are. Yep, we are. So there are a few questions I want to be able to ask for to you from those who are watching. Patty asks, "How does the strip attach? Just one straight seam down the center?" Are you there, Nanette? Okay, I'm not. We might have. Oh, doesn't look like. Okay, looks like she is disconnected for a minute. Hopefully she can get back on, but I know the answer to this, so I can help you out while she gets back on. Uh, Patty asks, how does the strip attach? Just one straight seam down the center, and yes, that is correct. The chenille tape comes on a roll. We have all the different colors on our website, and all you have to do is take it to your sewing machine, stitch it straight down the center. It really doesn't matter the color thread you use, because all of those fibers are going to come up, so it's okay to use the same color thread throughout the whole thing. Unless you want to be very, very careful, you could do that. Sew down the straight down the center, and you're ready to do the magic, and that is taking your little chenille brush, brushing up those fibers, and then everything comes up. So yeah, she has some great tutorials online on YouTube as well. So and let's see, it doesn't look like she's on yet, so I'm going to also take you a little bit closer to the quilts behind me. So this quilt right here is called Flower Garden, I believe. We have it on our website. And as you get up close, I mean, all it takes is a little bit of fabric for your applique flowers, and then your background, and then the Chenille-It. And notice how, you know, everything is just put together so beautifully. This one has had a lot of comments on our, as people have come in to the store. They're loving, loving, loving the butterfly garden quilt. Okay. Then the one over here, I can't remember the name of it now off the top of my head, but this one we also have on the website, and you can see up close how those appliques take on a whole new look. Oh, it looks like we might be getting her back. Let's see. Are you there, Nannette? Ah, we got you back. I was just kind of taking people through, but let me get you back on here, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know how much. Did you see how we finished the edges with the sheen? Did we
No,
see that?
but I think your finger is over your camera right now. So there we go. There we go. Okay. All right. What I was doing was I was taking them through the butterfly garden, and I couldn't remember what the other one is called behind me.
Venetian window.
Venetian
Venetian window.
windows. That's right. Okay. All right. There we go. Hey, you know what? That's a little bit better connection than we had before. So maybe I'm glad that that turned off for a minute. Let me pull you back on. There we go. Okay. Would you mind taking us through the how you did the binding again?
Right. You're just going to layer your quilt the way you always do with the top and the batting and the backing, and then you're going to just serge that edge. Zigzag. If you don't have a serger, you can just zigzag it. You just don't want that edge to fray out.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Serge. And then I like to start on the back first. You always use the 5/8 inch to finish your edge.
Okay.
You use the wire and you flip it over. And I like to stitch it on the back first. And you stitch it on that back edge and just extend that edge maybe 1/8 of an inch so that you can see it. When you flip it over, you can see the front. You can see that.
Oh, right. It extends a little bit. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And when you go around your corners, you don't do anything fancy. You just lap over it and cut it off.
Hey, we love that, don't we, ladies? Don't do anything fancy, just overlap it. I love it.
Just whack it off. And then when you flip it over, you can see that back edge. And you just line the front up with the back and stitch the front side on. Go around the corners the same way. And when you wash it, your edge is finished with chenille.
Oh, that is so cute. What a cute, cute way to finish a project. You know what? What I have with me, if you don't mind, Nannette, I'm going to show them the name pillow real quick. Let me see. Because this was also done that same binding technique. So look how cute that is. If you're looking for a fun project, try a name pillow with regular applique fabrics. But do you see how the chenille goes all around it for the binding? How cute is that?
What's really nice on the pillows is you don't have to turn your pillow. So you're not going to have a bolt. You just put the wrong sides together and serge or zigzag that edge again. And so the chenille, when I do my pillows, I do a double layer on the edge. I'll do 2 layers on the back and 2 on the front, and that gives you that really, really plush edge.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's so, so cute, Nannette. Okay, what else do you have for us? Oh, let's look at the dream pillow. That one's cute.
This one is a pattern too. This one is also a pattern, the dream pillow. And this one we've done to go with the We Can Fly quilt. And so that's done the same way. It has the dream words on it and the star, and the edge again is finished with the chenille.
So cute.
So it's great for pillows.
I love that.
You can stitch it to water-soluble stabilizer. That we have a pattern called the Lattice Jacket. This is our shell jacket. This is the Lattice Jacket is the one that I have on, and that looks like a sweater when you wear it. You can see that.
Oh yeah.
I can look through it.
Yeah.
So this is for all you people in Florida and California who need a lightweight jacket. It's like wearing a really, not even a sweater, because it has holes in it. And that's done on water-soluble.
Wow, look at that.
And if you're looking for an easy, fast project to do for a gift or to for Christmas, you can do scarves.
Oh, well, how did you do that?
Isn't that fun?
Yes.
So it is cut a strip of water-soluble stabilizer, and you want to use the type that is like fabric. Okay. Like you use for machine embroidery. Cut it the length and width you want. I cut my scarves 8 inches wide, and the full width of my stabilizer is 60 inches. And you just stitch rows. You just stitch the chenille down in rows. In fact, I've got a sample right here. I'll pull out real quick.
Boy, it looks like it's something you knit and you didn't.
When I wear my jacket, people ask me, is that crocheted?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Nope.
That's my jacket. But this is all it looks like when it's stitched down to the water-soluble stabilizer. And you just stitch it both, and you'll stitch it lengthwise. And then come back and stitch it the other direction. And you can even make fringe, but it doesn't look like anything before it's washed.
No. And you washed it. You just, like, when you say wash, what are you talking about? Warm, cool, what kind of cycle? Oh, we lost her again. Yeah. Uh-oh. If you can hear me, Nannette, let's try to get you back on. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
When you say washing, what do you mean? What,
I throw it in the washer and the dryer. I throw it in my washing machine.
Hot water, cold water? Does it matter?
I wash most of my things on cold water just because I never know if I have dark fabrics or something. I'll just do a cold water wash and warm dry, and it's the dryer that fluffs it up.
Okay, I like that. Everyone is loving the scarf idea.
Oh, they're so fast and easy to do, and it's so fun to do the fringe. And I do have I don't have time to go through every step by step today. There are tutorials on YouTube where you can see this step by step on how to do all these things.
Oh, definitely.
This is another panel that was to be shown first in Pittsburgh
at Quilt Market.
Of panels. This is another Moda panel that, and this designer is doing a panel that's going to be queen size.
Oh, wow.
So imagine I'll be putting my chenille on that next. So imagine what you can do. You can make a bit.
Wow.
And this is an Anna Marie Horner print, and it was so beautiful just by itself. It had these big, huge flowers and leaves. And so I treated this piece of fabric as if it was a panel and just kept the whole fabric and put chenille on it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. That's really added a lot to it, hasn't it?
And so you can take just a regular piece of fabric and treat it like a panel if you have a wonderful print like that, and add a border, and so many possibilities.
Hey,
and you've shown them.
That's a really good point, though, Nannette. Is it doesn't have to necessarily be a panel per se. Do it with a regular piece of fabric that has some big prints and put it around there and make your own quote unquote panel, right?
Well, and there you may take it. There's so many panels out there now. Disney panels, wildlife panels, and the beautiful Dream Big panel that you've got kits for.
Yeah.
Any of them can be embellished. A children's panel, to put that on a Disney panel, it takes the panel. In fact, I'll walk over here really quickly. Here are a couple of small panels that are pre-printed panels that I have just embellished with the chenille. Look at the...
Oh, how sweet. I love...
And it just makes that just stand out. I kind of say it brings them to life. Look what it does to the little...
Look how cute. I love the little caterpillar. Show up close the caterpillar. That is so cute. You did it in a circle. Each of them are circles.
I just do a tight circle with it. The 3/8 is very, you can bend that and twist it. That's the other thing I don't think I mentioned about the tape. There's no right or wrong side to it. So when you get to a corner, or you're doing something really tight like that, if I'm doing a corner like this around this, all I have to do is flip it and keep going.
Exactly.
I don't have to cut. So there's no right or wrong side. This is another pattern that I know you have, and this is called the Wonky Zigzag. And this quilt doesn't have one seam in it.
Ah, look at that.
So this has the Wonky Zigzags are so popular, but the template for this zigzag you can photocopy and make whatever width you want your quilt to be. But this entire zigzag is just one big raw edge applique.
Wow.
There's no on a solid background.
I thought this was a great statement from Christina. She shares, "Gosh, my eyes will see fabric so differently now."
Well, my husband gives me a bad time because I see chenille everywhere I go.
That's right.
I can go in the Cheesecake Factory and see chenille designs on the walls.
There you go. That's great. That's great.
For a novelty print, because you're not going to cut up your print.
Right.
Can you see how on that zigzag I have a continuous print?
Yep.
The raw edges are just finished with the Chenille-It, and the edge is finished with chenille. So I haven't had to do one seam on that entire quilt. It's just all raw edge.
So, Nannette, we've had several people also ask, when you quilt these, are you putting on the chenille before you quilt it or after?
Before.
You put the chenille on before you quilt it.
And you can do one or two things when you quilt. I mean, I have to do quilting quilt around the chenille when I quilt. But if you can do edge to edge over the chenille and it won't hurt it.
Okay, that's good to know.
And it'll still bloom.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yes, so it's okay if
you can do
quilting goes
edge, but
after.
It can go over the chenille. It's still going to bloom up around it.
Okay, that's good to know. And for those of you who have long arms, you need to go to YouTube and check out the video that Nannette did with Handy Quilter, because you you quilted and added the chenille at the same time with your long arm.
Yes, and that's even I we even on that on the Handy Quilter the show that we did, we even did the jacket on the water soluble
That's
stabilizer on the
right.
long arm.
Yes, I remember that now. That was
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, if you're a long armor, you can put your chenille down and quilt it at the same time.
Ah, even better. Even better. I love it.
We
So,
can't make it any easier.
Nanette, do you suggest that people glue it down first or sew as you
No,
go?
I just it's almost if anyone remembers we used to do flannel boards where you would take it and put them up on a flannel board and how it sticks. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember that?
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
chenille is
Yeah.
almost like that. When you lay that down on fabric, it's not going to go anywhere until you stitch it down. It just lays
Right.
there. And I just no, I just lay mine down and stitch as I go because it just stays right down on your
Mm-hmm.
fabric. This is another
That's
fun boys
so
pattern.
cute.
This one's called Game On. And one of the things you can do this again is all just all these blocks. This isn't pieced. This is just a raw edge applique on top of another block.
Okay, so here's another question for you, Nanette. When you're adding applique, we should stitch it down first before we add the chenille, but that doesn't mean we have to do a blanket stitch. It means we're just doing perhaps a straight stitch around it, or what would you suggest?
Well, this is a good time to talk about that. You have a quilt there, the Venetian windows quilt that
Yes.
you showed.
Mm-hmm.
Show a close up of that so they could see how that's another raw edge applique quilt.
Okay, I'm gonna let me take the camera off of you just for a minute, and I'm gonna bring up close to that one more time. This is Venetian windows. Whoops, there we go. Venetian windows that's hanging up right now, and you can see how all of that is going around. So, okay, so they got a little bit more of an up close now. I'm gonna take the camera back to you.
Okay. So this is the block for the Venetian windows. And it's really kind of a fun block to do because each one of these blocks, you start with a background block. And then for the applique, this is how I'm doing the applique. You're going to take another square and fold that in quarters. And the template that's in the pattern goes on that folded piece just like that. And you're going to draw that line, the inside and the outside line of that template,
Okay.
and then cut on those lines. And it's kind of like making a snowflake because when you cut that and open it up, you have two pieces.
Oh, that's
How fun is
smart.
that? Yeah. So I have an inside and outside piece. So now I'm going to take that inside piece out and put it somewhere else. It's really a fun quilt to lay out because you can really play with, the combinations that you want.
Yeah.
And then I take a center from another piece and put it in the center of what that does.
Look at
And
that.
then you
And
put that.
the thing I like about that too, Nanette, is it's not adding a ton of layers.
Right, that's why I did it that way. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
having all those layers and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not using all extra fabric. I'm just taking the inside of that applique and moving it somewhere else
I love it.
and putting it in its place. And then you put it on top of your background block and you can see, hopefully you can see where all I've done is stitch close to the edge of that. All the way
Okay.
just with this.
Wait a minute, Nanette. Wait a minute, my friend. Am I do are my eyes deceiving me, or am I seeing stitches from your sewing machine that you created your own pattern within the fabric? Am I right?
You broke up on me. I couldn't hear your question.
I'm looking at your fabric and I'm amazed because I think what I see is that you have created your own stitches on your sewing machine and added it to the fabric. Is that right?
They're going in.
Are you there? Did you stitch those machine stitches on your machine?
Yes, that's just stitched close to the edge of my applique on my sewing machine.
But I'm looking at also at the, is that part of the fabric or those decorative stitches?
It's just a straight stitch. Just a straight stitch.
Okay.
But on the inside, you're going to have row stitching on the inside and the outside. Okay.
Yes.
So there'll be 2 rows, and you're just going to cover that up with the chenille.
Okay, so that I was wrong. That fabric is the fabric. It's not machine stitches. I thought it was machine stitches you had actually added on there. My bad. That's part of the fabric.
Oh, you're looking at the print.
Yes.
At the print.
I thought it was.
That's a basic gray collection, and they had. Yeah.
I obviously do not have that one. It's so cute.
Yeah, that's a collection, and it has one of the print has decorative stitches. I see what you're talking about. I couldn't figure out why you thought I did decorative stitching.
Yeah. No, so
it's the
my
fabric.
bad. That was my bad. But you certainly could.
And then the edges are just. And then the edges are finished. Then you just cover those raw edges with the chenille. That's what it looks like when it's stitched down.
That's all it looks like. So I love that. Easy peasy. Okay, so once you have that stitched down, what's the next step, Nannette?
Are we back?
Yes. Once you have it stitched down, what's the next step? I think I've lost you.
Are we back?
Yes. Yep. Are you there?
I'm here. Are we back?
I think so. So after you have that stitched down, what's your next step?
Well, then you sew your blocks together, and you can see on the big quilt behind you that I don't even have to be that careful when I sew my blocks together because I'm putting a diamond over where those join, and that's another raw edge applique.
I love it.
And then when the quilt's completely finished, you throw it in the washer and dryer, and you get the quilt that you have behind you.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing. Now, if you have a small project or something you don't want to throw in the washer or dryer, you have a really cool little tool that you use, and we have on our website. I highly recommend it. Do you want to show us what that is?
This is a little brush that I can use if I'm putting it on a project or if I just can't wait to see what it's going to do. Then I can just take this little brush and fluff that edge up, and these little wires will just fluff that right up without damaging your chenille.
Yeah,
so that's really fast and easy to use.
I call it my little horse brush. It's those little wires. It's
I consider using it on pin cushions and all kinds of things. And if you're doing a small project like that, then all you have to do is brush it up a little bit and you're done.
Right. And I find it very therapeutic. I know I'm kind of weird like that, but as I go around, I'm like, oh, this is so fun. Because you're right, I don't want to wait for it to be washed and dried. I just want to start playing with it and seeing what happens.
And I'm just going to scroll, kind of walk and show you, some other things as we're talking, because there's so many things that we'll never get through. This is a handbag with chenille on it that's put on pre-quilted fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another place where you can save time, because normally on the strap of a handbag, you have to turn that, and you have this bulky seam. With the chenille, you bring those raw edges to the center and stitch the chenille over it, so you don't have to turn your handbag, your strap. And the edges are finished. I mean, you can sew it on jackets. The edges of my jacket are also finished with chenille. There's no facings, no hems. The edges are just finished with the chenille. That's another pattern that's called a cherished jacket. So that's a pattern.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Another traditional technique that I tried, and I didn't make it very far, was hexagons, because of all the work that they were.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that.
I didn't have to do very many hexagons before I didn't want to do any more hexagons.
There you go.
Because of cutting all those hexagons and turning them and all that handwork. This is my version of hexagons.
So basically, you're just appliquing those on.
Well, it's even easier than that.
Oh boy. Tell us what you're talking about.
This pattern is called Hexagon, Gone.
Clever. I like it.
Okay. And this is the block for that quilt, for that pattern. And you see, instead of having all those individual hexagons, all I have is the outside shape of the grandmother's garden, with one hexagon stuck in the middle.
Oh my goodness.
So all the shapes of the hexagon, on this one you can see I've stitched the Chenille-It on. So all these lines for the hexagon is just the Chenille-It. There's no hexagon there.
Wow, that is easy.
So I can make that whole hexagon quilt in a day, instead of it probably, if I'd done that with traditional hexagons, I don't know, have any idea how long it would have taken, but it wouldn't have been a day.
Oh, no doubt about that. That's amazing. What a fun thing. I love that.
This is a Riley Blake quilt I did for Riley Blake one year. And this is also a pattern. This is called Woodland, and has appliques in the center. But can you see how that little fox just comes alive?
Yes, so cute. Yep, I love
it. This is all raw edge applique.
So cute. Wow, that is so cute.
The flowers are done the same way as we did the Venetian windows, where you cut your flower and you cut the center out and move your center to another flower. So you're not having all those layers of fabric again.
I love that. What a great idea. What a great idea.
Another wearable that you can do, this is a sweatshirt jacket. Just a sweatshirt that's been made into a jacket.
Oh, sure, yeah. How
you
fun.
You cut it up and down the front. Mm-hmm. All the edges again are finished with the chenille.
Yeah.
This is great with machine embroidery to do some really fun panels. Mm-hmm. This one says "A material girl in a material world."
I have no idea what you're talking about. Linda
And
Linda shares this.
another piece on the back. That's another pattern.
Linda shares this will be an interesting addition to the materials used in art quilts. Creative possibilities.
Uh,
Great point,
you're
Linda.
only limited by your imagination, really.
Absolutely.
We like to say if you can dream it, you can chenille it.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Jan shared, I love working with Chenille-It. It works up so quickly. Yep, she's absolutely right. I mean, just see if all these things, I mean, all these ideas that Nannette is sharing with us, it's just so impressive.
This is another very traditional quilt design. And again, it's just ridge applique, but the what I've used for this quilt is, most of the quilting companies now are making rayons.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going back to my rayon roots. This quilt is made with rayon. I mean, they're selling their rayons to make clothing out of, but
Yeah.
it makes such a silky. I wish everyone could feel how soft this rayon quilt is. It is so silky and soft. And that's
Beautiful.
all right. So
So,
don't be afraid to put it on any fabric.
Nannette, what would you suggest would be a great project for somebody who's just beginning, who just wants to get started on it? Is there a project that's easier than another project, or does it matter?
Well, it's all I tell people it's so easy, it's stupid. Because all you do is lay it down and stitch down the center of the tape. And it's very forgiving. It's great to teach kids how to sew because
Mm.
they can't mess it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's that line down the center of the tape is straight, because when it fluffs up, it just blooms all around it. You can't tell. So
Yeah.
they're going to have a successful project. They can put their name on a bag or their initial or something and have a successful project. But the panels are very easy to do because you don't have to do any piecing or anything.
Right.
Um, and the strip piece baby quilt is another great first project because you're just sewing it on those strips and sewing blocks together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Those are two very fast, easy projects. This quilt was on the cover of Quilt Mania magazine.
Cute.
That's called Bird on a Wire. I mean, so you can, and that when someone was asking about doing art quilts, I mean, this is
Uh-huh.
an example of how you can use it just as an embellishment
Sure.
on an art quilt.
Yep. Yep. I love it.
This
Oh, look at that.
this is, um, again, a very traditional design that a lot of time is done with piecing. But here, all I've done is sew the chenille strips on it to give it that look. And the fabric that I used for this quilt was vintage sheets.
Ooh,
Use up
that's
your
pretty.
fabric, cut up anything.
Right, right.
Charm pack. This is a great design for a charm pack.
Sure.
So the chenille on. This is a children's version of the sweatshirt jacket with embroidery, with embroidery on the back
Oh, fun.
and the hair. I mean, I
Just
love,
kidding.
love to combine machine embroidery because you can really,
Hmm.
do some fun things.
Nanette, I can see why your husband is. He's probably afraid that you're going to chenille his underwear next.
Well, he keeps me away from his clothes.
That's right. I love it. It just shows that there's so many ways you can use it.
Well, and the whoever asked about what's an easy first project, there
Yes.
are a lot of fabrics out there that they call cheater fabrics that are printed. I mean, that's
Oh,
kind of the
yeah,
way
I
that.
recognize that one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is Moda's Lollies, and it's a fabric that just is, rows of prints, and they have put a black line in between those prints.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for my Chenille-It because I have to do this. So I just chopped that lollies apart and sewn chenille over those lines, and it looks like I pieced that whole quilt, but I didn't.
Oh my goodness, how fun. I
So
love that.
you can't get any easier than that. That's what it looks like before you sew. It's just
Yeah.
printed rows. And then all you do is sew the chenille on it and finish the edge with the chenille, and you don't even have to bind your quilts anymore.
Right. I love it.
That's
So,
a great project.
Nannette, if someone already owns a Dream Big panel, because I know they are so popular out there, how many rolls of Chenille will make one of those? Do you know offhand?
Well, on the opal one that I did, when the white where I used it on all the petals, I used one roll
Okay.
of the white to
Okay.
do all the petals.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used anywhere from 6 or 7 yards on the outer petals for the second color down to just needing just maybe 1 or 2 yards for the additional color underneath on the center.
So
But
they
you
would
can
have
do
to
that
buy
whole.
it. They would have to buy it as like rolls because they can't buy it in 2 yards or 3 yards unless it were to come in a kit. Correct?
That's why the kits are nice.
That's why the
That's why
kits
the
are
kits are
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, some of the colorations on the Dream Big panel,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think are nice. Yeah, you can do just with one color.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have more subtle color, variations. So
Mm-hmm.
that, sometimes you would just need one roll to outline all the petals if you want to use just one color,
Right.
depending on the color of your panel.
Mm-hmm.
But on this opal panel, it's really nice to get that effect. But they are available as kits too, so you don't have to buy all those colors.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
And they can even take a quilt that they've already finished. This was a quilt that I did actually years ago. It was just done with
Oh.
all the quilts that they're doing with the 2.5 inch strips.
Uh-huh.
I thought, it just wasn't doing anything for me.
Yeah.
I liked that. It was just a real scrappy quilt. But I
Uh-huh.
took this quilt after it was completely finished and just sewed some rows of chenille on, and it just transformed it
Well, look at
to
that.
another level. A lot more fun.
You know what I like? What you just shared is really a great thought. That's a great idea because it it's not too late to add chenille to a quilt you already have. I love that.
You can take another type of quilt that's really popular and almost everybody has a chevron quilt.
Mm-hmm.
But look what the chenille does to those chevrons by adding some rows of chenille.
Absolutely. Oh my
So that's
goodness.
that if you have a finished quilt and want to put some chenille on, that's another easy one to do, or an applique quilt.
Sure. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So fun. So, Nanette, This is just this has just been such a delight. Look at all those cute things. Look at the patriotic. Oh, that's so fun. I
Now
love that.
that's another pattern that's called Let Freedom Sing,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do it. This one I've done in patriotic colors, but you can also do the same quilt in just a fun print, and it has the birds on the bundings in the center.
How cute.
So there are a lot of patterns. One more thing I'd like to suggest. I know everyone is doing the rag quilts.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I do instead of a rag quilt.
There you go.
And you can have 3 or 4 quilts out of the same amount of fabric by just piecing your blocks and sewing the 5/8 inch over those seams, and I've added an applique over the top of that just to make it more interesting. And then finish your edges with the chenille. I don't have to do any clipping. I'm not going to have any mess in my water.
That's right. Well, that's the thing. It doesn't cause a mess.
I love the texture of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do instead of a rag quilt.
Great idea. Nannette, how many colors does the chenille tape come in? We have them all listed on our website. I just don't remember.
It comes in 23 colors.
Okay.
And we have a new, this is the, I don't know if you can see the panel. But yeah, you should have all those on your website. But yeah, it comes in 23 colors. So there's really a wide range of colors. And we have a new moss green that will be out next month too.
Ooh,
so there'll be even one more.
Wow. Yes, and we have
so there should be everything from neutrals to pastel, dry. There's
everything in between.
And 2 sizes. 23 colors and 2 sizes.
I love it. Yeah, so fun. So I would say you probably use the 3/8 inch the most.
I do, because that's what I use on the panel. I mean, anytime you're outlining something or you want definition, you want to use the 3. I use it, on all the pillows with writing, with the words. It just makes, and especially your raw edge applique. And the 5/8 I'm using primarily for my instead of binding, but on this elephant walk, this is another pattern, children's pattern, which is really fun. It has the ream on it.
Cute.
Right.
So, Nannette, you with us? Nannette? Oh, are you back? Okay.
I just show that I do have on the rose glass on this.
Perfect.
Well.
Perfect. So I know that you have a really fun giveaway for our viewers today. Do you want to tell them what that is? And let's turn the camera back on you, my friend.
Okay. I'm trying. It's not working. Let's see. Likely story, right?
Sure.
I don't know why it's not working. I'm hitting it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and just tell them what it is then.
I can't get it to go back.
That's okay. We'll look at a beautiful quilt while you tell us.
So did you want my life lesson right now?
Not yet. Let's go ahead and tell them what your giveaway is, and I will also bring up how they can find you. Yes.
The giveaway that we're going to do is you pick 2, and we're going to pick 3 different winners. And each winner can pick 2 rolls. You can have one, you can pick whatever color you want, and you can do a 5/8 and a 3/8 or two of the same, whatever you'd like to play with. And I'll give you a chance to really play and explore and see what fun things you can do.
I love it.
And
So,
let us see what you do.
well, and I think the key word that you just shared with us is we're going to let you play with it. And I think that's so true. When you're using this product, it does feel like you're playing and you're having fun and you're seeing, ooh, what else can I do with this? And what are some other possibilities I could do with this? So, do play with it. Try. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Have fun with it. And it's just a fun technique that I would love to see a lot of you out there trying, because why not, right? It's just something fun to try, and we are all creators at heart, so we're always thinking of, ooh, what could I do here and what could I do with this, and so many possibilities that you showed us today. It's really a lot of fun. Make sure you check out her Nannette on Instagram and Facebook at Chenille-It too, and I have that listed right there on the screen. So those of you who have been with us the past 2 weeks, you know the routine. All you need to do is make a comment below and let us know something new that you learned today, something you're excited about. What was your aha moment? Whatever it might be, go ahead and share that down below, and it will be your name will be entered in for the drawing. We're also giving away, in addition to what Nannette's giving away, we will also be giving away another $50 gift card to my girlfriend's quilt shop. Each and every day we've been doing that, and all of the winners for this week will be announced on Saturday. All right. So before you leave us, Nannette, what is your life advice for us? I wish we could see your beautiful face, though.
I don't know why I can't make that
Do
work.
you want to just turn the
Totally
camera
not.
around? Can we turn it around on you? There we go. There we go. If you're going to give us some life pearls of wisdom, we want to see it coming directly from you.
Without work, I have no idea what you can see.
What is your
But
life advice?
what I would like to tell your audience today is it's kind of the road that I've taken all these years, and never being afraid to ask, what if, and to try new things and to explore, because it's those what if moments that look what happened to my what if.
Yeah.
So, but be prepared for where.
There you go.
Be prepared for where. Yeah.
You started out with a $900 jacket that you wanted so badly and thought, what could I do? And this is what you did, my friend.
Right. And I can't wait to see, what your audience, where they go with it, because there's no end to what you can do when you're creating, and when you're working in your sewing room. Those are the moments that you want to. Right now, you really have a wonderful time to do this exploring and to play, and just
Absolutely.
enjoy life.
Just enjoy it, right? Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. You don't know where it's going to take you, right?
That's the fun of it.
You are exactly right, my friend. It has been such a delight being with you today. Thank you so much. I know this technology thing was a little new for you. You were a little unsure, but we did it. We pulled through.
We did it. See, everything is possible. Everything is possible.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much. You have been such an inspiration, Nannette. I just adore you. I'm grateful for your friendship.
Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. You bet. All right. We will talk to you later, my friend. And again, for those of you who were signed up to do her class with us here in Logan this next month. Unfortunately, it has had to be postponed because of the coronavirus. So we surely hope that we can get this behind us as soon as possible so that we can move forward with so many wonderful events that we have had planned and have in the future. We want to keep going, and we assure you that we're doing everything we can to make that happen. And for those of you who were signed up, we'll let you know when that is rescheduled. So, all right. So thank you again for being with me today. Again, just comment below as to what you're excited about, or maybe an aha moment for you. That will enter your chance to win not only the drawings from Nannette, but it will also enter your chance to win a $50 gift card from my girlfriend's quilt shop, which we are giving away every single day this week. I hope you'll join me tomorrow for several things going on. What a way to wrap up the week for a Friday. We've got several things going on, and especially with it being Good Friday, I am really looking forward to it. So, the first thing, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, is our deal of the day with Barb and Kyle. So, and with me. I have to tame those two ladies down, you know? If any of you have been following along with me at 9 o'clock, it's kind of crazy house with those two, and it's fun being the little moderator. So they're gonna join me tomorrow morning at 9. In fact, I think we're gonna do it live from our shop, because at 10 o'clock tomorrow we have the drive up. So drive up to make a difference. Again, if you are just joining in, check out on our Facebook page, because we are so looking forward to a wonderful event. It goes from 10 to 11 at both of our locations, and where you can drive up, and we are going to donate a yard of fabric per carload for you to go home and make masks. Make masks for your loved ones. Make a mask for the community. Every yard will make 10 masks. We have cut 300 yards for you, my friends. So with that, with your help, we're going to be able to donate 3,000 masks to our communities tomorrow. So I would love it if you would join us in that. And if for those of you who can be with us, or even if you can't be with us, but you know people in the local area, we'd be so appreciative if you'd go on our Facebook page and share this message with everyone today, because the big event is tomorrow. So tomorrow, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock only, and we are going to go out and be handing out 1 yard bundles of fabric, along with a free pattern on how to make the face covers, the face masks. So I hope you'll join me for that. And then at the 12 o'clock noon hour, I will be going live for our final summit, sewing summit. This will wrap up our 2 weeks of sewing summits, and I will have Marcia Owen from Cotton Street Commons, who will be joining me, and I'm really looking forward to showing you all of her new patterns. She's got so many fun things, and she's a riot to talk to. So I'm excited about that. So anyway, lots of good things happening, and I hope you'll join me again. As I always end the sewing summit the last 2 weeks, what do I say? What do I say? I say, stay safe, stay healthy, stay home, and keep sewing. All right, everyone? Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.